You're listening to Civic Media. You can tune into any of our live shows on any radio station across the state with the Civic Media app. Find us in your phone's app store and listen anytime, anywhere.
Good morning. It is Monday, June the 16th of 2025. Currently 61 degrees at our 98.9 WXCO studios in downtown Wausau at the corner of Washington Street and North 3rd Street. I am Chad Holmes, and this is Mornings with Pat Kreitlow. We'll get back to Pat in just a few minutes, but at 22 after and 52 after the hours, in the 7 and 8 o'clock hours, we are able to come here and talk about what's going on here in north central Wisconsin. Across the way is our in-studio engineer and producer, Ian Welsh. Ian, good morning.
Good morning, Chad.
A lot to talk about over the weekend.
Indeed.
A combination of, I would say, uplifting and also tragic news to talk about over the weekend. And we're going to start off by talking about Saturday here in the Wausau area in Rib Mountain on Rib Mountain Drive. Here in central Wisconsin, it was one of the nationwide No Kings rallies. And, of course, people all over the country, millions of people all over the country got together and were able to show their opposition to Trump administration policies. And here in the Wausau area, somewhere just apparently, again, the numbers I'm seeing are talking about more than 800 people were along the road on Rib Mountain Drive on Saturday. I was there myself and wanted to talk.
I saw some of the pictures you took, too.
Yeah, it was a wet day, but yet people were not stopped from coming out and being part of this event. And whether it was here in the Wausau area or throughout the country, it was, I think, a very powerful and a very peaceful event, and especially here in north central Wisconsin.
Yeah.
I was there for the entirety of the event, which ran from 12 noon until 2 p.m. People lined up and were very, I would say, uplifted. And it was not a angry group of people. It was not folks who Donald Trump would like to say hate America. There were people, every one of them, waving their flags, signs in support of what the United States of America stands for as we near the 249th anniversary of the USA coming up on July 4th. And basically, it was a pushback. It's not to allow Donald Trump to define what America is or what America is not. Not to let Donald Trump be able to define who loves America and who does not love America. No, this was about people standing up for America, even more than against Donald Trump. Yes, obviously, there were lots of folks with their signs pushing back against the current president of the United States. But at the same time, there were so many banners and signs that were about what America is about. And also, there were signs even that I saw right when I arrived there talking about stopping the hate and trying to have folks come together. And in the aftermath of the tragedy that occurred in Minnesota early Saturday morning, it hit the spot, I thought, hit the bullseye. I'll be talking more about that aspect of the weekend coming up a little bit later on. But this was about saying, Donald Trump, we're not going to let you take the flag. It was Flag Day as well. We're not going to let you say what is patriotic and what is not. We're not going to let you say what constitutes loving America and what constitutes not. So again, it was in so many ways emblematic of what this country is about. This was democracy in action. This was people standing up for their rights that were fought for. 2.5 centuries ago and fought for again and again and again over the years. And for Donald Trump to try to say, well, if you don't agree with me, you hate America, is wrong in every way.
Yes, it is.
And he does that all the time. If you disagree with Donald Trump, he'll say, well, these people hate America. Donald Trump thinks that loving America equals loving what he likes or his policies. No, that is not the case at all. But the way that the folks were out there, even during points in the second hour of the event on Saturday, the rain was coming down hard. It was not
Yes, it was.
It was not a pleasant couple of hours in terms of the weather. But nobody complained. Nobody, as far as I could tell, was leaving until the event came to a close. And something else that jumped out is sometimes, you want to hear support from the folks going down the road. Hear the honks of the horn. See the waves. And the percentage of folks that were driving by that either gave a thumbs up or a wave or a honk of the horn was as high as I can ever recall at any similar type event. There's always going to be a few that disagree, which is fine. There were a few that would
You're allowed to disagree.
They would give their salute with a certain finger or a thumbs down, but it was very few. And it was a case of where it did feel like there was overwhelming support. And again, you can't take rallies and then say, well, that's what it means ultimately. Because I recall last fall, there was a lot more energy and numbers when it came to the events that occurred in the Kamala Harris campaign as opposed to the Donald Trump campaign. You saw a lot more empty seats and a lot less energy at Trump events than Harris events. And in the end, it did not lead to a victory for the Democratic nominee.
Yeah.
But I think this is more than just numbers. This is more than just vibes. This is about standing up and sending a message that America is more than what Donald Trump says it is. And I thought it was just an uplifting event. And as I said, very peaceful, very joyous as well. This was not an angry event. We're going to take a time out. We're going to have more on this incredible weekend in about 22 minutes. But more of Pat Kreitlow coming up next. Mornings with Pat Kreitlow on 98.9 WXCO.
You're listening to Civic Media. Stay up to date on the latest news and information for your local community and Wisconsin by signing up for our free email newsletter. Visit civicmedia.us/email to get started.
It is Mornings with Pat Kreitlow on 98.9 WXCO, online at WXCO.FM, mobile devices and Alexa by searching WXCO, and on the Civic Media app. Overcast skies and 62 degrees right now in downtown Wausau at our studios from the corner of Washington Street and North 3rd Street. Talked in our first segment about the No Kings rally that was held here in central Wisconsin in Rib Mountain on Saturday.
Yeah.
Very large crowd that appeared. There were a couple of other major stories that occurred over the weekend. Of course, there was the parade that was held in Washington, D.C. in honor of the Army's 250th birthday. I'm going to talk a bit about that later on in the program. But also there was a tragedy early Saturday morning.
I heard about this.
It's almost too horrific to think that things like this happen in this country. But Democratic Minnesota State Representative, former Speaker Melissa Hortman, and her husband were assassinated in their own home, while Democratic Minnesota State Senator John Hoffman and his wife were both miraculously not killed. I mean, when you hear what happened to Senator Hoffman and his wife, I believe the numbers were 9 times the senator was shot, 8 times his wife was shot, and somehow they survived, which is just a miracle. And over the weekend, people were watching, waiting for this suspect, a 57-year-old man named Vance Bolter, to be caught. He was on the run for much of the weekend. And then finally last night, just before I was going to bed, word came down that authorities had arrested Bolter. And there are so many layers to this that are disturbing. Number one is that this man committed the crimes while dressed up as a police officer and driving an SUV made to look like a police vehicle. You open the door and you see somebody who looks like a police officer, and you would just assume to trust that person. And for that person then to kill these elected officials in Minnesota is awful, because what happens the next time a police officer is looking for somebody that's committed a crime in a neighborhood, knocks on a door? You can't, the idea of having that mistrust in the back of your head is just scary, because maybe it could be 99.9%. There'll be no problem that it's a police officer serving the public. But then there's this 1%, 0.1% where this person is using folks' trust in a law officer in order to get into their home and hurt them or even kill them. So the good news is an incredible amount of great work was done by authorities in Minnesota to arrest Vance Bolter, who will appear in court later today. But I have to say that at a certain point, average conservatives have to stand up and tell the President of the United States and other lackeys thereof that in certain circumstances, you have to be better. And yesterday, Donald Trump, instead of doing the ultimate layup, the ultimate simplest thing you can do in a circumstance like this, refused to do it. When Donald Trump had his life threatened in Pennsylvania last summer, immediately the President of the United States, Joe Biden, reached out to Trump and his team, reached out to everyone saying this is beyond the pale, this is wrong, 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 sending best wishes. Yesterday, Trump was asked, well, are you going to reach out to the governor who is leading the response on this? And Donald Trump needed to say, well, I might, but he's doing a terrible job. He's a terrible governor.
Oh, for goodness sake.
Why can't he be presidential even for a moment? And then last night, instead of, again, trying to bring together a country in the aftermath of such a tragedy, last evening, as the manhunt was continuing, Trump posted another rant on his Truth Social site, lying that Democrats are, quote, sick of mind, hate our country, and all actually want to destroy our inner cities. There is something wrong with them, end quote. And then he went on to say that what he's been doing in Los Angeles, he's going to spread to Chicago and New York and other large cities, which he calls the core of the Dem Power Center, where they use illegal aliens to expand their voter base. So continuing to add gasoline to the fire that is going on in this country. I mentioned earlier that during the No Kings rally that I attended on Saturday in Rib Mountain, there was nothing like this kind of hatred. That this was about trying to make our America the best America it can possibly be. But it's not up to me or you or others maybe that disagree with the president to call him out. It's time for those conservatives who I think want our country to be better to start calling out this kind of behavior. And I didn't even get into Senator Mike Lee of Utah, which I'm going to touch on in the next hour, because to talk about disgusting, it does not get much more disgusting than Senator Mike Lee. But I call on conservatives, if they don't think this is right, to stand up finally and say something.
Please.
Information update coming up here on 98.9 WXCO. It is Mornings with Pat Brightlow on 98.9 WXCO, online at WXCO.FM, mobile devices and Alexa by searching WXCO, and on the Civic Media app. The time is 8:23, currently 63 degrees under overcast skies in downtown Wausau. I am Chad Holmes along with Ian Welsh. And Ian, again, good morning to you.
Good morning, Chad.
I'm going to touch more on the weekend, but I'm going to take a step back right now. Because I got a few more things to say, but I want to let people know that coming up tomorrow on the program in the first hour, we are going to have an opportunity to talk to folks involved in a musical, again, coming up this weekend.
Yes.
Another show is coming, and this time it is the Central Wisconsin Children's Theater, and they are performing Into the Woods on Friday at 7 p.m., 2 shows on Saturday at 2 p.m. and 7 p.m. and Sunday at 2 p.m. So, again, Into the Woods coming. And is that, again, I should know this, but is that, again, at UWSP at Wausau? But,
yes, so that will be at the Veninga Theater as well.
Okay, so using that terrific space over at UWSP at Wausau, Central Wisconsin Children's Theater, again, Into the Woods this weekend, 4 shows in 3 days, and we will learn more about it with some of the performers tomorrow morning. They're going to be popping in here to studio, I think, as well, the director. So we will talk about that coming up tomorrow during the program in the first hour, so make sure you tune in at 7:22 and 7:52 tomorrow morning for that.
Absolutely.
And if you have an opportunity, go and see the production as well. The CWCT always does some really good stuff, and when we talk about so many things that can be not quite as uplifting, but here in Central Wisconsin, the opportunities to see, I think, important shows, and this being a Stephen Sondheim show, very popular show.
Yes, it is.
Are you familiar with it? Have you been involved in Into the Woods at all in your
I
extensive?
haven't actually been in it, but I know of the story, and I have seen the Disney movie as well. It was based off of. It's got wonderful characters, fantastic music. It is a very intriguing and powerful story as well.
Very good. So sounds like it should be a lot of fun. It's also wonderful to see so many of the young people get opportunities to use their talents and be able to expand their horizons. And just another one of the numerous theater companies that we have here in North Central Wisconsin. So we'll learn more about the show. We'll learn more about the organization and a whole bunch more coming up tomorrow morning here on the program. And was it this week that you were going to be trying out for another show, or am I mistaken?
Tonight, actually. I'm going to be auditioning for River and Woods Theater's auditions for their annual Shakespeare in the Park performances. They have 2 shows that'll be happening. Their show for kids, A Midsummer Night's Dream. And they actually started auditions for that on Sunday, and continues tonight and Tuesday as well. And then tonight is the first night for the adult show, the Comedy of Errors. Auditions for that are tonight and tomorrow. I'm actually really interested in the Comedy of Errors. I've been doing my research all week, and it's actually one of Shakespeare's shortest plays, and also one of his most funniest. So,
is there a part that you're hoping for, or are you kind of open at this point?
right now I'm pretty open. I mean, there's so many fun parts in this show, and the whole show is just incredibly hilarious. I mean, it's got mistaken identities, a lot of mix-ups, a lot of confusion. It's just going to be a fun time.
Fantastic. And for other folks that may be interested, again, take that leap, right? Take that opportunity.
Absolutely.
Because you have opportunities here in this community to, again, spread your wings. If you're somebody that has been, thinking maybe I hear what Ian Welsh talks about on the radio, and maybe I would like to be a part of it. I know you can find out probably more information at the River and Woods Facebook page, and I'm sure they
all
have.
the information is on their Facebook page.
Yeah.
And you don't have to be an expert in theater to audition. If you just want to audition and give it a try and see if you like it or not, that's perfectly fine. Theater is about, just getting a chance to be a different character, make new friends, and most of all, just have fun. That's what it's all about.
Fantastic. So, yeah, folks, take that plunge. Don't be regretting the things you don't do. Don't in the future say, boy, I really wish I would have done that. Hey, go for it. A chance to meet some interesting folks and have new experiences. So check that out. But again, always great to be able to talk to the folks that do get part of these shows. And make sure you tune in tomorrow morning when we do talk to the kids and members of the cast of the Central Wisconsin Children's Theater and Into the Woods. Hey, coming up at the end of the show, we'll start another week of our Number for the Day quiz.
Yes.
So even get you off to a good start. You had a passing grade last week, so that was a good thing. And the topic for today, vegetables.
Oh.
Vegetables will be the topic. So
my least favorite thing. Not all vegetables. I do like some vegetables.
Well, I'm going to say these are going to be vegetables that people do like. So it's a positive thing about vegetables. So this will be popular vegetables. So that will be it's even a tighter topic. So you don't have to think about the bad vegetables, but you'll think about the good vegetables. And we'll do that coming up in about 22 minutes or so.
Awesome.
Coming up, bottom of the hour. Update coming up, latest information, news, weather, sports, that's straight ahead. And then back to Pat Kreitlow. He is in Canada, if you've been tuned in. Flight got canceled, so he's still hanging out in Regina. So coming back with more from Pat up in the Great North. It's almost 8:30 here on 98.9 WXCO.
You're listening to Civic Media. Find the latest news, information, and archives of all your favorite shows on the Civic Media website, civicmedia.us.
And welcome back. Mornings with Pat Kreitlow on 98.9 WXCO. Online at WXCO.FM. Mobile devices and Alexa by searching WXCO and on the Civic Media app. The time is 8:53, 66 degrees under overcast skies here in downtown Wausau. We are downtown at the corner of Washington Street and North 3rd Street at our 98.9 WXCO studios. Coming up in just a few minutes, we'll wrap things up with our Number for the Day quiz. A couple of things I just wanted to mention before we wrap up. I was going to talk a little bit about Senator Mike Lee. I think folks out there, you know what Mike Lee's been saying. I want to end on more of a positive note. But what I will say about things like what Senator Lee did in his social media in the aftermath of the tragedy in Minnesota this weekend is that I can criticize. Others on the center left or the left could criticize, but it's up to the folks that are conservatives to say that this is not what we want to be. And I would encourage them to stand up and say, Senator Lee, We may agree with you on a lot of issues, but you have to be better than that. And that's really all I'm going to say about Mike Lee after his, I would call, disgusting social media post in the aftermath of the murder of the Democratic leader in the State House in Minnesota. I also wanted to wrap up on a positive note, again, going back to what I did on Saturday afternoon as part of the group that gathered along Rib Mountain Drive in the Wausau area as part of the nationwide No Kings rallies. According to published reports, more than 800 people were there. I was glad to see some sort of report because when you're in it, you don't really know how many folks. But what I would say is that I was pleasantly surprised by the number of folks on a wet day, as excellent. It was block after block after block of folks. Another thing that was very positive was I would say the belief in our country, the belief in our system, that this is about having our voices be heard. And I've talked about this, we've talked about this, that we're coming up on the 250th anniversary of this country.
Next year, right?
Yep, July the 4th of 2026, because it was July the 4th of 1776 where some true heroes, brave people, put their names down on that Declaration of Independence. Because when you put your names down, that was basically, if the United Colonies at the time had not won the Revolution and won freedom, they would have been hung up. They were signing their death warrants if things did not go right.
It was basically committing treason.
According to the Crown, yes, that's exactly right. But it was right from the beginning. People standing up and saying, this is right, this is wrong.
That's right.
And we want our voices to be heard. And that's what it was. And it was done in such a positive way. It was really...
And peaceful.
It was peaceful. It was positive. It was uplifting. It was our system at its best.
Inspiring.
As I said earlier, it was a case where there were so many signs that were of positivity, along with obviously talking about no King Donald, no King Trump. But at the same time, it's about what we want to be in this country, what we aspire to be.
Yeah.
And I just think that is so positive. And I just thought, talking to some of the folks there that I didn't even know. There was a young person who was standing next to me there, and she had to leave after an hour because she had to get to work. But she wanted to be out there to show the support that she, as somebody younger, sees for the future of this country. And again, whether you're on the left or the right, you have the right to say what you believe in. And we've talked about the battle of ideas. This is a continuing of the most, I think, American of the battle of ideas, that we come out and say, hey, we are somebody that believes in this way. We want our voice to be heard. And again, it was just wonderful to have all those folks come out on a rainy Saturday and do that. And I thought it was a positive day, not just here in central Wisconsin, but throughout the country, to see so many people stand up and say, hey, let our voices be heard. And there's going to be more opportunities, I'm sure, in the future. And I think that as long as we are able to continually have discussions and have true battles of ideas, it can be nothing but good for this country.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, let's try to continue the positivity.
Yes.
By having a positive start to the week for you in our Number for the Day quiz.
Okay.
And for folks who are not familiar, we always wrap up our program by giving Ian our Number for the Day quiz. 3 choices, one of which is the number for the day, 2 of which are incorrect. So based on the math, 1 out of 3, just by guessing, 33%. Anything better than 1 for 3 for the week is a passing grade. Anything below 1 for 3 is 33% is a failing grade. And then, of course, we want more right than wrong for a winning week. An A grade is 4 to 5. And then that perfect week, which you've done once before, is always the strive at the start of a week.
Hoping to do it again.
All right. Popular vegetables. Well, we have a new survey that is out. And America's favorite vegetable has been crowned.
Okay.
It is corn.
Corn.
What percentage of Americans in this survey said that they liked corn? That they like corn. That corn had the highest percentage of people who said they liked it. And your choices are 94.1%, 91.4%, 88.4%. So 94.4, 91.4, 88.4. How many people said in this survey they liked corn, the most popular vegetable in the United States?
I'm going to say 91.4. I think that's a good number for the percentage of people who said that corn was their most popular one. So I'm going to say 91.4.
All right. Final answer?
Final answer. I'm locking it in.
Well, people said that they like corn were 91.4%.
Yes!
So you did it. Very good start to the week.
Awesome.
Have a great rest of your Monday.
You too, Chet. Happy Monday, everybody.
And again,
Have a
join
great
us
day.
tomorrow. We'll be talking to the cast from the Central Wisconsin Children's Theater. That's tomorrow here on WXCO.
The national news cycle never stops, but it can be hard to find news about your local community. Civic Media is dedicated to providing quality local and state news coverage across Wisconsin. With the Civic Media app, you can get notifications about local stories that matter to you and your community. Find the free Civic Media app in your phone's app store and choose notifications from the menu to tell us what kind of news you want to hear about.